Welcome to Brief Screen. In this video, I will explain a suspense film called Blood Quantum. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive into the heart of the film and explore what makes Blood Quantum a must-watch. The film begins in a town called Red Crow in Canada. The town is home to many Indigenous people. An elderly native man named Gisagu is seen catching several fish. He meticulously removes their intestines and begins to clean them. However, he is taken aback when the gutted fish start moving and jumping around, eventually returning to the water and swimming away. In the next scene, we meet Trailer, another Indigenous man who serves as the local sheriff. He responds to a call about a dying dog belonging to his ex-wife, Joss. Upon arriving, he sees that the dog has eaten something poisonous and is in severe pain. Trailer tries his best to save the dog, but ultimately has no choice but to put it down. Afterward, Trailer enters the house to speak with Joss, a nurse. She informs him that their son Joseph has been arrested in another town along with his half-brother Lysol, whom Trailer had with another woman. Joss urges him to release the boys immediately, but Trailer decides to let them stay in jail for a while as punishment. Trailer then places the dead dog in his car trunk and drives to see his father, Gisagu. Gisagu shows him the fish he caught, which are still alive and moving despite having their organs removed. Shocked and terrified, Gisagu admits he has never seen anything like it. They decide to burn the fish outside. As Trailer opens the car trunk to dispose of the dead dog, it suddenly comes back to life and attacks him. Startled, Trailer shoots the dog again and burns it along with the fish. To his astonishment, he notices that the fish continue to move even while on fire, leaving both Trailer and Gisagu deeply disturbed by the bizarre events. The scene then shifts to a prison cell, where we see Joseph and Lysol. They notice another inmate approaching them while throwing up blood, which disgusts them. Sometime later, Trailer and Joss arrive at the station. They learn that the boys were arrested for climbing a bridge and defecating on drivers below. When they arrive at the cell, the sick inmate gets violent and begins attacking the boys. He bites Joseph on the arm before a cop beats him down with a flashlight and knocks him out. Later, while heading to the hospital, Joss scolds her son for always creating trouble and not making better choices. She also doesn't like him hanging out with Lysol. Joseph responds that his brother has gone through a lot since his mother died, and Trailer has basically abandoned him. However, he promises his mother not to act recklessly from now on. Soon after, Joseph arrives at the hospital where he meets his pregnant girlfriend, Charlie. She is there for an abortion, but Joseph pleads with her to keep the baby, assuring her that he will take care of her. Charlie eventually changes her mind. Meanwhile, Joss is looking for tetanus shots, but her colleague informs her they have run out. A large number of people have come in with bite cases in the last 24 hours. At that moment, a white nurse goes crazy and starts biting people around the hospital. Later that night, Trailer responds to a call from an Indigenous man named Shooker, who reveals that his white girlfriend is acting strangely and trying to attack him. When Trailer arrives, he is horrified to see the woman biting her newborn child. He tries to stop her, but she becomes aggressive and bites him. Trailer manages to overpower her and repeatedly hits her in the head with the shotgun until she dies. Following this, as Trailer and Shooker get in the car, he receives a call from Joss. She anxiously reveals that a nurse attempted to bite her, and there's chaos in the hospital. Trailer then drives towards the hospital, and on the way, he comes across an ambulance. It turns out that Joss, Joseph, and Charlie were able to escape in the ambulance, but are still being pursued by the dead people. After killing a few more of them and burning their bodies, they finally realize they are dealing with a zombie pandemic. 6 months later, the outbreak of flesh-eating zombies has spread, and the Red Crow has been turned into a fortified compound. The residents have discovered that native Indigenous people are immune to the bite, whereas white refugees are not. This is the reason Trailer and Joseph survived, despite being bitten by the zombies. Meanwhile, Lysol has grown increasingly hostile toward others' tendency to bring in white outsiders. One day, Joseph brings a man seeking help for his sick daughter. Lysol becomes agitated and reprimands his brother for bringing white people into their camp. He then decides to shoot both the father and the daughter, but Joseph and Charlie try to stop him. This leads to a heated argument between them, and Lysol even points his gun at Charlie's pregnant belly. But before he can pull the trigger, Trailer intervenes and stops their fight. He then examines the little girl and finds out that she's been bitten. He informs the father that his daughter is no longer alive and that he has to kill her. Trailer then sends the reluctant dad inside the camp and finishes off the girl with a heavy heart. In another scene, a young white woman named Lilith arrives at the camp, and Joss interrogates her. She inquires if she has eaten any people or dogs, but the young woman denies it. When asked if she has been bitten, Lilith responds that she hasn't. However, we find out it's a lie when she goes to the bathroom and checks a bite wound on her stomach. Meanwhile, the little girl's father shoots himself in the bathroom and quickly transforms into a zombie. Lilith notices him from her stall but doesn't mention it to anyone. Elsewhere, Trailer and his crew, which includes his father Gisigu, Shooker, and another man named Bumper, are planning their next steps for survival. The issue is that there are too many zombies and their ammunition is running low. They are currently managing zombies at the bridge with a shredding truck, but their main priority is to make it through the winter. While discussing this, they are informed about the death of the girl's father, so Trailer goes to deal with the situation. Meanwhile, Charlie has a serious conversation with Joseph. She feels like the baby is eating her from the inside out, and because she's white, is concerned about what will happen if their baby is not immune. Joseph assures her that it won't happen and kisses her. On the other hand, Joss checks on Trailer, who has been bitten by another zombie. She removes his shirt and notices his back is covered in bite marks. She sews his wound and informs him that there's no anesthesia and he will have to bear the pain. Trailer doesn't mind and thanks her for everything, leading them to share a sweet moment. Later that night, Lysol takes some narcotics and drinks alcohol. In his inebriated state, he goes to Joseph and apologizes for the earlier incident. He also expresses his guilt for always causing trouble in the family. Joseph understands his situation and promptly forgives him. After all, they are family. Following this touching moment, Lysol notices Lilith in the distance and decides to go flirt with her. After chatting for a while, he takes her into a room to have some fun with her. But to his horror, Lilith unexpectedly transforms into a zombie and starts eating his private parts. This causes Lysol to scream in pain, drawing the attention of other people. Joseph quickly arrives to check on his brother and is appalled to see him being eaten alive. On the other hand, Trailer sets out to gather supplies with his crew. They soon arrive at a gas station, where they are casually attacked by many zombies, but the group manages to quickly decapitate them one by one. Back at the camp, Joseph ties Lilith's hands and places a sack over her head. He then brings his injured brother to see his mother, but Lysol suddenly stabs him. When asked why he did this, Lysol responds that he has no family. Thankfully, Joseph doesn't suffer any fatal injuries and manages to escape his maniac brother. In the aftermath of this incident, Lysol frees Lilith, who proceeds to attack the camp members. This results in many people becoming infected, ensuing absolute chaos. Shortly after, Trailer and his crew return to the camp, only to find it in a disarray. He quickly contacts Joss via walkie-talkie and discovers that Joss, Joseph, Charlie, and 8 other survivors are trapped in the compound's basement. With time running out, Trailer uses the car's music to attract a horde of zombies. Taking advantage of the distraction, he and his crew enter inside to rescue the survivors. Not long after, they find the family and some other survivors. They attempt to lead them to safety, but zombies arrive, forcing Trailer to use his gun for defense. Unfortunately, the gunshots attract even more zombies. With no other option, Trailer orders his family to leave while he deals with the undead. He fights them off valiantly until they overpower and eat him alive. His family is devastated, but Gisigu and Bumper soon escort them to the truck. While driving, Gisigu receives a radio call informing him that Lysol has trapped several survivors inside the church. He asks Joss and Charlie to go somewhere safe with Bumper while he and Joseph deal with his grandson. When they arrive at the church, Lysol is nowhere to be found, but his 2 accomplices are terrorizing the place. The old man demands to know where Lysol is, but his accomplices refuse to answer. Gisigu and Joseph quickly eliminate the accomplices and rescue a group of people. The scene then shifts to the morning, where Bumper is guarding Joseph and Charlie near a lake. They spot a boat in the distance and plan to leave as soon as Joseph and Gisigu arrive. Moments later, Lysol appears out of nowhere and stabs Bumper, severely injuring him. They realize Lysol's true plan was to distract the men so he could murder Charlie and her baby. As chaos ensues, Joseph tries to protect Charlie while Gizagu fights off more zombies. Lysol, driven by madness and resentment, closes in on Charlie. Just as he is about to strike, Joseph confronts him, leading to a brutal struggle. With Gizagu's help, they overpower Lysol, but not before he severely wounds Joseph. In his final moments, Joseph stabs Lysol, ending the threat. With Lysol defeated, Gizagu, Joseph, and Charlie make their way to the boat. Despite their losses, the survivors remain determined to protect each other and face the uncertain future ahead, finding hope and unity amidst the chaos. Lysol then approaches Charlie to finish her off, but Joss points a gun at him. She eventually shoots him, but not before Lysol unleashes a group of zombies from the trunk of his car. Following this, the zombies approach Charlie and begin attacking her. Joseph arrives moments later and kills all of them, but he discovers that Charlie has already been bitten. A distraught Joseph then stabs his half-brother and leaves him to die. Shooker arrives at the scene with 2 other boats. The survivors happily proceed towards it, but then a horde of zombies approaches them as well. Seeing this, Gizagu declares that he will stay behind to fight them off. Joseph tries his best to stop him, but the old man forces him to flee with Joss and his wife. After this, Gizagu bravely fights the zombies and eventually ends up decapitating each one of them. Meanwhile, on the boat, Charlie begins to have contractions, so Joss helps her with childbirth. After a lot of struggle, she finally gives birth to a baby girl. Joseph quickly checks it and confirms that the infant is not infected, which makes Charlie very happy. However, she knows that she's infected and can't stay alive much longer. She then begs Joseph to kill her before she turns into a zombie and hurts them. In the end, Joseph reluctantly shoots his girlfriend and stands by her body, while Joss holds the newborn and contemplates their future.